All right, welcome everyone to another episode of Mentorship Mondays. So I am hosted today by my wonderful co-host, Domenica, over here to my right. And we have this amazing co-host that came all the way down from Cincinnati, Ohio. Is that right?
Right on, man. Right
Oh
on,
my
yeah.
God. Well, introduce yourself. Tell everybody about you.
Hey guys, I'm glad to be on the podcast this evening. My name is Kejal Shah. I'm the owner and founder of Keepway Consulting, and been running the company for a little over about 5.5 years now, almost going on 6 years soon.
Wow.
So yeah, it's been a fun ride so far.
So you're a true entrepreneur, full and full.
Yeah, didn't actually think about becoming an entrepreneur originally, to be honest with you. It kind of just happened magically. I was working in the corporate world for many years, and then I was a director of recruiting for a financial company called Northwestern Mutual, and finally got tired of the toxicity sometimes that happens in company cultures, and went home after the day I quit, and started building a career coaching practice that eventually went on to become one of the fastest growing talent consulting agencies in the Midwest. So
Amazing. Literally, you had an idea and you followed through on it. You took action.
yeah.
Just the last 4 months of your business has been crazy. And I don't think you give yourself enough credit, because how many people have you hired in just the last 4 months?
7. So,
Is that-
well, we're probably going to end up hiring 2 more people actually in the next month, just because
Very
we have
good.
so many new clients that have been jumping on with us. But it's it's surreal to see how many amazing opportunities have just come up. And I was talking to you earlier, like I could have never imagined 5.5 ago getting the kind of opportunities that we have, especially down here in South Florida. Like the networks are incredible, the people are amazing, and just like, I mean, it's like vacation every day. What else can I ask
That's
for,
so
right?
true.
Well, this is what happens when impossible dreams literally manifest. We come into something with an idea on what we're going to do, but ultimately what ends up happening for when individuals become hyper focused and super diligent about what they're doing is your unconscious mind literally starts to lock in on the target of what you're working towards building and achieving. And now there's a blessing and a curse to all of that.
Oh yeah.
The blessing is that when you have lock in, you do end up starting to create momentum. And this is the dream and the fantasy of so many entrepreneurs, especially the struggling ones out there. But it's a double-edged sword. You got to sometimes ask what you wish for, because when the momentum and the velocity of incoming business comes in too fast, now you're put to the test.
Right.
This is where, you really have to be able to scale up quickly, effectively. And it even becomes more important at these stages than ever to make sure you're making your moves with precision. Because once your name starts to get out there in the industry and people start to say, hey, who is this? We're looking at this company. Wow, interesting. All it takes is one move for everything to fall like a house of cards.
Yeah.
So sometimes, just depending on where someone is in business, pump the brakes, push on the gas. But sadly, but truth, you don't have the option at times to step on the brakes, because when the business is flying in, it can be completely overwhelming. I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt, almost wound up probably in a mental hospital. I probably should have been. But I got through it to the other side. So it was quite a learning experience.
We all go there, and there's no real manual on how to do things right. I mean, there's people who failed and succeeded and who give you tips and great books, podcasts, whatever. But at the end of the day, each business is so unique that it's like raising a child.
Well, it really is. And then that's the thing. It's like, for example, when you look at it, like great companies are going to hire great recruiting companies to bring in great talent. This is one of the, the invisible lines that separates good to great, and then say great from amazing. Is at the higher levels, great and amazing. What do? How do they leverage and scale their businesses? How are they so successful? How do they run a well-oiled machine? Very simple. They delegate. They go and hire people to do what they don't know how to do, or hire people to show them what they know how to do even better.
100%.
The ones who just say, hey, listen, I figured this out and I'm going to keep down my path and I'm going to keep doing what I've always done because it works. they're going to get surpassed by their competition
Yep.
who are proactive on this
Yep.
front.
Yeah, one of the things that I've said pretty much in every single prospect client call when I sit down with a business owner is, a good company doesn't become a great company until great people start really believing in it and investing in it. And I think it really is a generational thing where I think a lot of boomers and prior generations, or even generations before the boomers, I see this kind of ferociousness of like, I have to bootstrap everything myself.
You have to control.
I have to
Yeah.
control every little nitty gritty thing or
Yeah.
every
Yep.
little business process and procedure and those little details. And you're really suffocating your people. You're really not giving them space and grace to be able to own their own creativity and to really engage with the culture and the environment that you've created for them. And if you're always micromanaging, then what space are you actually creating for them to also feel confident and comfortable to
Yep.
come to you and present new and fresh perspective or ideas that could truly take your company
Yep.
from 0 to 100 like that? It just stifles so many businesses. And unfortunately, I've seen it over the last 12 years of working with these different companies. And hell, when I was at Indeed, I was working with Tesla, Shutterfly, Gorilla Glue, some of these big Fortune
Yeah.
100 and 500 companies. Every single turn of the corner, all of them were struggling with this balance of how much do we, manage people and how much do we actually lead people? Because there's a very stark difference
Oh,
between
yeah.
the
That's
two
so
of them,
true. That's so true.
I was going to, tell us more about that distinction because you're in the field and, we both have our ideas, but this is what you do every day. So
Yeah, I appreciate the question. I think that what I've seen with a lot of business owners is that they don't really have a strategy, right, around attracting, developing, and then retaining their talent, right? So it's really that formula of an amazing attraction strategy. Like, how can we make our business look as sexy as we can in the marketplace, especially in a employee-driven business or workplace? So yes, since the pandemic, the tides have turned a little bit in terms of what the employees are looking for, what the employers are looking for, and how much they're willing to compensate or appreciate their people. But really owning that attraction strategy, coupling that with the right development processes and procedures, and training and mentoring the managers, that mid-level leadership, because I firmly believe that culture lives and dies in that mid-level leadership.
100%.
Both of those two synchronized pieces of the puzzle actually result in the higher retention rates. They try to, say these need to be individualized, or we need to have HR only handle one side of this, and then recruiting hires and does all this other stuff. You're missing the marker every single time. And it gets frustrating for the candidates because they're constantly put in this capacity where I don't know who I can really talk to about my long-term growth and success, and they leave. They just leave.
That is endemic within large companies. And this is why I'm really glad you just said what you said. I am, because it brings up an important point. And I'm actually going to tie it even into what I do as well, because as a performance specialist, top tier companies that are wanting to retain top talent, like let's just, be completely grounded here and real. If you're an A player and you're really good at what you do, and you get an offer from a company that's going to pay you the right amount of money, whatever it is you want, give you all the benefits. If you're really an A player, that's not going to satisfy you. You want to know that the company, what are they doing to invest in your growth? You're already on a scale of 1 to 10. You're a 9. You're a 9. And now, you can go with a company that's just going to, give you the benefits and pay you what you want to be paid. Or you can go with the company that's going to pay you what you want to be paid, give you the benefits. And hey, guess what? We work with a performance coach to come in and really scale up your performance and track it. Oh my God, they're going to go flocking. And here's the reality. This is for every single industry out there. There used to be a show on TV called Billions on Showtime. Wendy Rhodes was the performance coach for X Capital in-house. High stakes, high stress position. These individuals, the stockbrokers, they make one bad trade or have a bad day that could be hundreds of millions maybe to the firm. So it's a totally slam dunk investment to bring someone in at those levels when the stakes are high, when the decisions are very precise, and when you really care about your team. And in today's world, it's a huge differentiator.
I love the fact that you highlighted something, the stakes are higher than ever, really. You think about it, the cost of finding great people alone is astronomical. I mean, just some quick stats so that you guys know and the viewers as well. Just in the last, I'd say 3 years, right? The cost of hiring talent has gone up by at least 30 to 40% on average. So people that you would originally pay, say for a salaried position, $4,000 to $8,000 to try to find, it's now more like $8,000 to $12,000 or $15,000 per
What?
hire. Yeah, per hire. And then
That
if
is
you look at blue collar, sometimes in certain situations, it can be more or less, depending upon the type of talent we're looking at, years of experience, what is the industry type, if it's a plumber, electrician, whoever it might be. It's funny because for us at Keepway, we've kind of played on two different ends of the spectrum. We've helped companies with hiring those salaried positions, sales, marketing, financial services, operations, you name it. But there's also a huge demand, pent up demand for a lot of contracting labor out there. And not a lot of people have those transferable skill sets. So we're finding this big shift in the marketplace where, they're not able to hire or find the right people on that side of the spectrum to be able to come in and work these blue collar positions. So they've had to increase their wages when, if they hired or they found the right team to help them attract, develop, and retain great talent, teach them better practices, they could kind of mitigate some of that risk or that cost that comes with finding that needle in a haystack person. So there's so many different dynamics of the economy, of relationship building. And, I used to be on the board for the YMCA in Cincinnati many years ago, and I did a presentation and I talked a lot about how to date your candidates. And I predict in the next 5 to 10 years, I think a lot of companies and a lot of mid-level leaders are going to have to start shifting their mindset to think about, hey, how do I build a relationship with this person where even when they get offered tens of thousands of dollars more, or they get offered opportunities to go and work for bigger Fortune 100 and 500 companies, that I'm showing them, one, a pathway to success. I understand kind of 3 key pillars that I teach on, which is purpose, passion, and promises. And then thirdly, that I'm respecting and honoring their time, energy, and effort while I have them for however long I have them. So long-winded statement, but I think
you're
it's
good.
it's such a pain point for so many business owners. So
Wow. And I even want to actually take this a little further with what you said, because I love that long-winded statement, because you made a lot of sense. And I'm really glad you shared everything that you said, because here's the thing. Take what he just said and let's go up one more notch. Okay. What is the next notch to what he just described? Well, in order to execute upon what he just described, the leadership within the organization has to be somewhat realized to self-actualized.
accountability.
That's it, man.
The
So
key.
people, it forces it. I don't want to use the word force, but it promotes the company falling into alignment with natural principles, with how people actually are designed to operate, how businesses are designed to operate, how Mother Nature operates in the natural world. Back in the day, prior to AI, prior to social media, businesses could run on a command and control fear-based system, because here's the thing. If you wanted a job, when I was a kid, you'd open up with the newspaper. There was no internet. There was a little internet, but it wasn't understood and nobody used it or thought it was going to last, for that matter. But that being said, that's how it was done back then. So yes, when information is controlled, when you have control of information and you do not have free flow of information, you have control of the minds of the people in the community and the region. Nowadays, that's not the case. He could have a company that's looking for a talented person, and then someone pops up from Egypt or Mongolia or Laos,
Literally.
the best candidate on planet Earth is from Phnom Penh, Laos. And he's like,
or New Delhi. Hey,
there you
shout out to my
go.
Indian brothers and sisters out there.
That's what I'm saying. So the
Next
world
guy from Mason, Ohio here.
the game has changed a lot. And that's one thing, to love it or hate it. It doesn't matter. It's here to stay. The internet, AI, apps, social media, people in other countries and around the world who did not have an opportunity to really have a conversation at the world table in various industries. They didn't have that opportunity years ago. They have it today. So it's not necessarily just local, regional, national economies. We're picking from an international labor pool.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And to that point,
there's kind of this weird dynamic that's happened in the last, I'd say, 2 to 3 years, where a lot of companies have definitely started outsourcing to the Philippines, to
Oh, yeah.
Taiwan, to all these different other.
Why not though?
I mean, it's a good question. So I think it really depends on your industry, to be frank. You know, I pretty much for Keepway hire all my team members here in the States. One, because I think there's a cultural understanding that comes with hiring people in the US. And I think that unfortunately there is almost a stigma still that a lot of people have that, you know, if one of my sales guys reach out to a business owner, you know, and they're talking like this, which I can do that. I have the green card, okay? But if someone is reaching out to them and they don't understand the culture, even if it's even not a language barrier, right?
Yeah.
Then it's going to be harder for them to make that intentional relationship and that connection. So I think you have to be very specific with the industry. You have to be very specific strategically about who is front facing with your clients and who's on the back end that can manage maybe some basic operations, basic email marketing campaigns, or some other things that your team might be putting in place. So
It's the industry, but also the position. Because no matter what industry you're in, you're going to need people in the city or the state or even in the country, because people want to do business with people at the end of the
Well,
day.
I'll tell you what, back in the day, prior to Upwork, I'm going back a long time now. I'm going back to like 2003, no, 2002, maybe even 2001. I'm going way back. Long story short, when I had my surfing company, I had some, it's kind of funny because I always used to say what I had created. I created something that Uber created before Uber created it, except I applied it to surfing. Literally. So I had the
you're just riding the wave. That's all. See, I can do that. Dad jokes. Come on. I told you. I warned you.
He's got it. So when I was building and scaling that company, I needed to have some software created. So I found some Indian programmers that I reached out to in India on the internet.
How did you even find them?
It was like some site before Upwork. It was, I don't even think it exists anymore. I don't know. It might have been on one AOL chat. But long story short, it's like around that time, God, I'm so dating myself. This is when text messaging really became like, you could integrate it with like internet stuff. So I had surf instructors all over the state of Florida and Costa Rica, and I'm not going to sit there and call them all. So I had the software created where if someone booked a surf lesson or surf camp or anything, an APB would go out to all the surf instructors in that 10-mile or 20 or 50-mile regions to their cell phone. And it's like Uber. The first one that accepted it got it. You know, now obviously I had to hire and train them and they were vetted. So they were all part of the network. But that software dealing with, you know, India for, God, I think it took 9 months to get that created. Oh, it was so back and forth. And then I remember they wanted to quit the job once. And they're like, you owe us money. And I said, I'm paying for a result. I'm not paying for your learning curve. I'm not paying you to go to college and figure this out. I hired you to land the plane and get the job done. And they did.
You don't even know like if they're real over here, because there wasn't like reviews and things like that.
No, back then you had to write a letter.
Just trust.
The U.S. mail, you put a stamp on or send a carrier pigeon.
Please hire me. Here's my resume. Please.
Please.
Underline a bold.
Oh my God. So all right, I'm going to just go on a little funny thing. Do companies ever do that anymore? Say, hey, sorry, they should start doing that. Mail the resume. Show me your initiative.
I saw somebody send a cake to a company.
Oh, I've seen donuts. I mean, heck, when I was in leadership recruiting roles with a couple of larger companies, I mean, people sent me like love notes.
Wow.
They were like, Kejal, thank you so much for being such a blessing. Your time was so awesome.
But
like
those
with
people
me.
stand out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I couldn't begin to tell you how much that touched my soul. I've seen like people that actually saw the time investment that I made with all the people I hire. I mean, you really have to be intentional about understanding the people that you're sitting across from.
Yeah.
Totally. And it says something about the people that did that too, because regardless of their intentions, you know, they still made a decision to sit down, take the time out of the day to find the gift, to find the card, to handwrite it, to put a stamp on the envelope, put the address, throw it in the mail. You know, they still did all those things. So you could sit back and say, they're just kind of playing the game. But here's the question. Did anyone else do that? No. So yeah, you're going to get a little more attention. That's just how it works.
You know, one of the greatest most incredible blessings that I've ever had is seeing people come back into my inner circle, like through the years. I mean, if anyone's been out there in recruiting for any amount of time, you'll go into recruiting, you'll be there maybe for a couple years. The average recruiter only sticks around in recruiting for about 2 to 3 years.
Whoa, why so short?
Because you're dealing with people.
Uh,
Like, I mean, people are the best and the hardest part about what it takes to be a recruiter. And I think a lot of people can say that about their line of work. I mean, and I think a lot of people also compare recruiting to sales. And I tell them you're wrong, because recruiting, you can't sell a soul. And the reality is that when someone's making a career decision today, they're making it based on a multitude of factors. They're making it, it's an emotional tie that they're tying with the company. I talk a lot about the emotional baggage and trauma that we carry through the years with different companies. There's still things from 20, 30 years ago that people hold on to, and they won't choose companies because of it, or managers or
100%.
leaders. But the amount of people that I've sat down across the table from, I mean, I've hired over 3,000 people just in the last couple of years. And every single time, every single conversation, I just have to think in the back of my mind as an owner of a company, as well as someone that's helping with recruiting, how can I make a strong first impression that they will never forget and they will cherish to such a point at which they feel like I invested in them early on in their life or their career. And 5-10 years later, I've had those same people come back around to me that I hired for positions in other higher level companies that I brought with me.
Yeah.
And that's a way to minister to people in a way that's so special and so not talked about in the circles that I run in.
Well, I think
Yeah.
another thing that is very, very bad in the hiring world is that we really hire people based off of resumes, or we try to, when sometimes,
Hard and soft skills.
yeah, sometimes the best candidates are not going to have the best resumes. And I found my employees I have given them the opportunity based on my intuition more than what I saw on paper. Sometimes the people that had the most experience and had the great work on paper turned out to be people I did not want working for me.
Mm-hmm.
And even me, back when I was in the corporate world, there was many times I remember that I had all the skills necessary in marketing, and it was so hard to get a job, and I was like overqualified in some areas, and it just made no sense. And that's one of the reasons why I was like, you know what, I'm not going to do this ever again. I'm going to go
Mhm.
start my own things and show the world that I have all the skills necessary. And I feel like a lot of people, especially right now in this tough market, I'm hearing so many people have been applying to jobs for 1, 2, 3, 4 months and getting no results.
Yeah. It's funny you say that. You are much like tens of thousands, if not millions of people out there right now that they can't find the right career opportunities for multiple different reasons, right? So one of them being because of like the PPE loans that came out back in 2020, right? And I was just having this conversation with a prospect career coaching client, because we still do career coaching nationally and internationally. I was having this conversation with them just earlier today, and I had to share with them about 30 to 35% of all the job postings that you see out there are ghost jobs.
So ghosting is not only happening in dating, guys.
I
It's
mean, that's
happening
why
out in the corporate world.
I mean, that's why I draw the parallel. Recruiting and dating, like,
Literally.
it's not too different.
So wait, how are they
literally.
ghost jobs? They just don't exist?
So
Or?
they're shell jobs, essentially. So they'll create a position, they'll create a
Ah.
job description, and then all of a sudden, you'll find about 150 to 350 applicants for that job. But because of the certain regulations that the government has put in place,
Yeah.
they won't actually regulate how much hiring you're doing in compliance with that loan, right? So, someone that's from the government might sit down with that business owner. All they need to show is that they have proof that they're hiring.
Right.
They won't dig
Just a
into
job posting.
how many hires are you making? What kind of
Ah.
hires are you making? Are you actually putting budget behind your job postings and all this other stuff, which is a whole nother conversation for another time. But that is one of the biggest problems that we're seeing in today's job market. And so people are bewildered. They don't know whether or not they should apply for positions anymore. And I tell them all the time, your best strategy is to go out there and shake hands and kiss babies and get in front of the key decision makers that are
Yeah.
leading these companies. So that's one of the most important things. The second thing I would say is usually there's a big misalignment with people in terms of 3 key pillars that I always teach on. It's purpose, passion, and promises. all three of those have to be accounted for, whether it be the employers and recruiting the people or the people that are looking to be recruited.
Yeah, two-way road.
And it's like, it's a mutual relationship. And too many times the employer tries to sit high on their pedestal and they look down on people when these people have incredible gifts and talents. I mean, to your point, you didn't go back to a corporate job because you knew that you had incredible gifts and talents that you were blessed with. And you knew you could expand on that and create something beautiful and unique on your own, build your own team. And that's what I see a lot of people going into and doing right now because of that distrust that a lot of this relationship and the trauma that people have experienced. And I don't say trauma to say like people are, soft. I think that there's just a lot of
people have baggage. They're carrying baggage.
They have baggage from prior employers or life or everything. Things that they've been through. And so it's very hard for them to trust another company with one of the most important life decisions. Hell, if we're spending anywhere from 75 to 85% of our lives in the workplace, and you don't have great relationships with your boss, your team members, or you're walking into a toxic working environment, why the hell would anyone stay?
Right. Just the need of staying at a company, just survival. And that's what most people are doing nowadays. They're surviving and they don't even like where they're at.
But here's the thing. This is 2025 stuff going forward. People more than ever now. And I'm just going to tell it how it is and throw some clarity. Wait, what did you just do? Did I really? I didn't say a bad word.
You're already trying to censor us. We got enough.
I know. I'm getting sorry, guys. I got censored here. Oh, there we go again. All right. You having fun?
Let's see if you catch this one. You got to be bleeping kidding me. Oh, wait. I did for myself. There you go. Oh.
All right. Are we done playing with the toys? Anyways. All right. So we're 2025. We're moving forward. People more than ever. Like, here's the thing. You look at your business, I can even look at mine. Anyone look at your business. It's based on all the same laws, natural law. There's going to be a certain percent that's going to elevate and thrive. And then there's a certain percent that are just going to get cut off. There's another percentage that are going to have a minute of glory, but they're not going to be able to keep up and they're going to get taken out. And that's just really how things do work in the big picture. And here's the thing. To what he was saying and Domenica is the fact that if you do want to succeed and get ahead and you're a career person, take the time, make some investments in yourself to get to know yourself, because then you're no longer at the mercy of the system. Instead, you're actualized, you're realized you're only at the mercy of the system to the extent that you stay blind and to the extent that you stay in the dark. As soon as you're willing to step into the light, which most people are not. So it's, sad but true. I know. It's like, but the reality is when you get actualized or get on the path to actualization and really knowing yourself, you're no longer going to be affected by external forces as much as you may be right now. And just like the companies, the ones that are getting their acts together, like they started a long time ago, like you look at Google, some of the early adopters of this mindset, it's no surprise that they're machines dominating, not the United States, but planet Earth. Why? Because they recognized a long time ago, while everyone was pointing at them, laughing, saying, ha, 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 we're not going to do this. We're not going to invest in our people. We're not going to spend money to really just up the experience for people here and to turn this into what he was talking about, a magnet that attracts top talent instead of sending door knockers to try to find people all the time. Come on, get with the new paradigm.
Yeah.
If you want to win and succeed, and guess what? You take the really great company and the really great individual, they come together. What do you get? You get magic. And all those people out there that are running companies or that are looking for jobs and, they're just saying, well, technology is moving so fast. I'm not going to keep up with it. I'm going to do things my way. Keep doing it your way.
You're going to die. Get ready to close doors.
And then here's another thing I shared with somebody not too long ago that works for a company here in Florida where the owner is not investing or doing anything. He's been doing things the same way they've always worked. And they, don't fully understand why. But here's the thing. They're like, we're still profitable and we're doing great. And I go, well, here's the thing. How long has the company been around? 35 years and you're still profitable? Well, the owner made all his money. The guy's probably got several mil in the bank account. So if the company was shut down tomorrow, his lifestyle
He'll
isn't
be
going to
fine.
change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's y'all that you have to worry about. And that is a reality for a lot of businesses. Do we got a call going on here?
Yeah.
All right. We're going to call Sabine.
Sabine hasn't answered. But going back to that point, I
Yeah.
think leaders and business owners need a wake up call. Get off the pedestal. Like, you're working for your employees. They're not
So
working
true.
for you at the end of the day. And if you're trying to build a great company, you better know that you're serving your employees and your customers, not the
blessed.
other way around. You're
It's a
blessed.
blessing. It's a gift to be able to get to do what you do every single day. If you're a successful business owner or a successful executive, it's a blessing. You have to realize you get to do this.
Yeah, I mean, I think from my own owner founder kind of dynamic that I've recently kind of walked into heavily, with hiring so many people in such a very short time, is that
Yeah, you have a lot going on, my friend. You're moving it. I'm like, when you say that, I pictured, I'm probably dating myself again. Star Trek.
Yeah.
Did you ever see Star Trek?
Light speed or something
Yes.
like
Where
that.
it
Yeah.
goes,
Yeah.
that's what I'm like. That's when I see you. I just see that.
I mean, for me, it's like I love explosive growth. For me, it's
Explosive growth.
I mean, I think about it this way: like, you really want to make a splash, make it in a way to where you see people empowered and you share your vision and your values with people that actually care about you and your future.
Yeah.
But here's what I also wanted to say is that in the entrepreneurial journey that I've been given, and it truly has been a blessing, even thus far, with all the craziness that's happened.
Yeah.
About 3 months ago, I had to shift my mindset from how much money can Keepway Consulting as an agency, how much can we make in talent consulting, recruiting, or even career coaching?
More like a couple billion a month.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that.
I like that number.
I had to shift that mindset to how can I make sure that I'm actually being present for my people first and
Yeah.
showing up for them and giving them the words and affirmation of encouragement, love, and hope for the future. And knowing that no matter what happens with Keepway as an agency, if I invest in my people first,
Yeah.
the money and the opportunity truly come out of that.
They will.
And and I talk a lot with employers about this
Yeah.
too. You got 3 pieces or components of a company's value proposition, right?
Mhm.
You have the EVP, the external value prop,
Right.
the IVP, the
Okay.
internal value
Internal value
proposition.
prop. Yeah.
And then you have this little one over here that every business owner tends to forget about. It's the employment value proposition. It's understanding how your employees are not only your greatest growth investment,
Yeah.
but they're also a force multiplier in
yeah.
your marketing and your branding, because your employees are actually the only ones that can not only be your candidates, but they can also be your future clients.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how you treat them and what you do with them while you have them during the short amount of time we typically see with companies nowadays. Average salary employees only stay about 12 to 16 months.
Yeah. We were just.
Do we got loyalty here?
Oh no, this is Laquita.
I was just making sure you knew your name. Of course, you're Laquita. Wouldn't that have been funny if you were pretending you were someone else?
Oh gosh.
You never know. I once did this call before, and I got someone's altered ego. I thought I was calling Larry, and I got
a
Frank.
professional form of catfishing right there.
Oh,
Ah, woo! Thank God we got who we called. How you doing tonight?
I am pretty good. I am excited.
Oh, you
Are
should
at
be.
Podfest?
Huh?
Are you at Podfest?
No, we were at Podfest, but we're actually in the Creators Studio here in Boca Raton. We just finished with the big catering that he puts out for all of us before we get on the
shrimp.
pod.
Yeah,
the
the
shrimp
steak
and the
and
lobster.
everything. Man, we ate good.
A lobster.
So amazing.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah, Jason stops at nothing. He just gives us the American Express black card and says, whatever makes you happy. I even bought a couple new cars. You want one? We can send one up to you.
Oh yeah, please do, please do.
All right, we
We'll
got it.
express it to you. Don't worry.
Well-
I love it.
Well, we have an amazing host here today, or co-host, Kejal. Do you want to ask him some questions regarding like human resources, hiring, recruiting, all kinds of, these are challenges that all the businesses seem to deal with these days, and he's the one with the answers.
Oh yeah. So one of the things that I'm getting into in my field, and I'm in education, is using AI for education as an educator. And as an HR, if you're working with HR, um, what is like the biggest issue that you all have run into in HR regarding AI, like when you're going through the hiring process of a new candidate?
Yeah, I really appreciate that question. Laquita, am I pronouncing your name right, by the way?
Yeah, you did, you did.
Okay, awesome. Because everyone butchers my name at least 5 times in a conversation, so I'm used to it by now. But Laquita, it's funny you asked that. So I have several friends that are kind of HR partners, if you will.
Hmm.
And one of the biggest things that they're actually seeing is that a lot of the talent or a lot of the candidates that they've tried to hire are utilizing AI in their resumes or even like creating their profiles when they're looking to apply to companies on the back end. So, just from a front end perspective, I mean, this is creating a lot of problems because there is no true sense of who the person is in terms of their unique value proposition. We were just talking about that a second ago, actually, about the
Hmm.
employee's value proposition. So being able to communicate that in a unique or differentiated way, a lot of HR managers don't know really who to hire, or they're struggling to make the right hiring decisions, or people aren't even getting chances to interview because the AI software is making everyone see, feel, or seem to be the same. So what we're finding is that a lot of companies, while it's great to definitely maximize your use of AI to the fullest extent, you still need to have like someone that has been in recruiting for at least, I'd say, 8 to 10 years to review your resume, or the people that you're looking to hire. I'm a big proponent of that HR or recruiting team needs to make sure that they're looking at every single individual resume and they're making sure that they're weeding out. Don't just depend on the ATS system. That will only get you
Hmm.
so far.
Hmm.
And I don't know how much your team is dealing with that right now, but I mean, I can tell you from firsthand experience, you're missing out on some great people if all you're depending upon is the ATS.
Yep.
It's looking at, and this is part of the bigger conversation that I've been having with a lot of the companies I work with. So, Laquita, a lot of companies are only looking at hiring people based on their soft and hard skills, right? And
Hmm.
they're assuming that people have those transferable skill sets. But just because someone has great skill sets doesn't mean that that's going to fit into the dynamics of your culture.
Hmm.
So what you need to do
Exactly.
is create a balance between the two, and AI is kind of somewhere right here in the middle, right? To where you understand their unique value proposition, their own purpose, their passions, and what their promises or non-negotiables are as a candidate. Have that real authentic conversation with them and do the phone call. For crying out loud, do that phone call. You won't regret it. And then on the other side, making sure that you're leaning into, what is your long-term growth and success strategy on scaling your team, and not just depending upon AI software to fill in all of those gaps. So I hope in a sense that answers your question initially.
Oh yes, most definitely. And the way that I see with AI and using AI to help, update your resume, for example, or to write a cover letter, yeah, I would see it mostly as, how, for example, I started in education over 10 years ago. So as the years go on and I'm still in education, the terminology may change, the responsibilities may be a little bit more advanced, and I might not be so in tune with those that new terminology or just a new way of doing things. Like for example, in the last say 3 or 4 years, I started changing my resume, and this was before AI came out. But I started changing my resume to focus more on the measurable achievements that I've made. And AI will actually, prompt you to do that.
Yeah.
So it's really trying to see how can you really look at all of these AI written resumes and then choose the proper person for the role that you're looking for to bring in a series of candidates for a position if everything in the resume is, kind of glossed over or it's not as authentic as it possibly can be.
And look, wait, I know we're a little bit shorter on time, but I
Oh,
want to
yes.
I want to share this with you too. So, um, at Keepway, we actually have what we call a talent hiring portal. So this is actually a specific training platform that can teach you kind of all the best practices around, you know, resume reviewing, interviewing, compensation analysis. Those tend to be the top 3 things that people find. And one of the things that we talk a lot about in that training course is the integration of AI and how the ATS systems actually read your resume, and then what you need to be doing to differentiate or stand out in the marketplace. So if that is a resource you need, definitely reach out to me. More than glad to get you connected. Or you can go right on my website at www.keepwayconsulting.org, and you'll see it under Talent Hiring Portal. So I think that could be a helpful resource if you really need it.
Well, you're on the Owwll, right? You're on the Owwll app?
He's on the Owl now.
Ah,
Call him.
look at that.
I'm indoctrinated.
yes.
You know,
Is
this is what
it on
happens.
one of the links that's on your page?
So my website should be on my Owwll, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, we'll definitely find a way to connect for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Look
And
at that.
Yeah.
I love it, man. This is
This is what the
actually
Owwll app's all about. It brings talented, great
Mhm.
people together. And for everybody watching this right now, if you do not yet have a copy of the Owwll app on your phone, you can go to the Google Play Store or the Apple Store.
There we
I
go.
see it. Fine. I knew I'd forget it one of these days. And download it. I think the last episode I said to write a letter to the company and they'll send you a CD-ROM to put on your phone.
Oh, no.
We're talking about not trying to date ourselves. Let's not date ourselves anymore.
Remember those floppy disks?
Oh God.
No, I'm talking
The
about the
dial-up
cassettes,
out.
man. That's the real OG stuff.
All right. Well, we're getting the flashing lights, and I guess we gotta call this party. Is that right? Is that the head nod I'm getting? Wait, how do you do that again? Well, hold on. We're getting a demonstration
I
here.
don't know if this is break a leg or just break it
I
down.
think we're gonna get it broken if we don't finish this
Yeah.
up soon. All right. Well,
thanks,
listen, this has
Latrina.
been amazing talking with you. And,
Thank you so much.
And yeah, I hope you two connect. I hope you're able to make some amazing things happen and really experience and leverage the full magic of the Owwll app and everything it has to offer. We're all on there too. So if you like, either Domenica or myself, you can say hi to us as well.
Give them a
We're
shout, guys.
people.
Come on, they put in a lot of hard work into it.
Yeah, this guy just shows up and takes the show. This
Oh,
is what he
no.
does.
No,
Just takes over industries. I went out to
I'm just
dinner with
here.
him, and everyone in the restaurant was high-fiving him and getting his autograph. And we just sat down and ate pasta.
I like to give. I like to give. So this is
Sure
a
were
giving
eating
opportunity.
pasta.
Yeah.
You guys were.
You had the flatbread,
pizza.
and you had a steak, or
Yeah, I always get steak.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me
Was it
carnivore.
good?
Oh yeah.
it was
Yeah.
good. They did a good job
Yeah,
there.
I mean, Cheesecake Factory actually doesn't disappoint.
I've never had
It never
steak there.
disappoints.
I should have
Like a
asked you. I was kind of
Chick-fil-A.
Carne
curious.
asada. If you guys are watching, carne asada, secret hack. Get it.
At Cheesecake Factory, if you want to sponsor the Owwll hack, Owwll hack.
We will take check or Venmo
Yes,
And
or
Zelle. And a free car.
pink slips titles. All right, guys, we got to wrap this up. We're going to call it a day. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in. Mentorship Mondays. We want to thank our amazing co-host here tonight. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm like, after you said what you said to her, I'm scared to say your name.
That's okay. Everyone can just call me Cage. It's a heck of a lot easier.
Easy. And Domenica, what do you got to say to everyone?
Thanks, guys. Bye.
There you go. Short and simple. Have a good night. Wow, good job, man.
No, you